Call for a motion to exit executive session. Moved and seconded. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Call for a motion to enter into public session. Motion second. All in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Please rise for the saying of the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we'll begin with our recognition of our
Falcons of the month. Appreciate you all for being here tonight.
Thank you everyone for coming. This is really exciting. And I will tell you this, these are the absolute favorite meetings for our Board of Education when we get a chance to honor our students. Tonight, we have the distinction of honoring our next group of Falcons of the Month. Each school in our district celebrates numerous students each and every month for being outstanding. We've asked our schools to select one individual from the many honored to represent the group. Therefore, the students we will be honoring tonight were selected because they personified the trait or characteristic being celebrated this month. In other words, these students here tonight are the best of the best. Tonight, each student will be given a certificate when we call the students up. Okay, they're going to come to me. I'm going to shake their hand and give them the certificate. And then we're going to ask the students to walk along and shake the hand of everybody at the table. Okay. I will make sure I get out of the way during that. For anybody who's taking. Okay, I'll be out there. Our first student, and I'm going to read the certificate once. The certificate of recognition, whereas the philosophy of education of the Niagara Wheatfield Central School District calls for aiding all students in the development and achievement of their potential. And whereas the primary goals of the school district include encouraging each student to develop a sense of values, instilling a feeling of responsibility to self and to others, as well as an appreciation of good citizenship. Be it resolved that the Board of Education of the Niagara Wheatfield Central School District hereby recognizes the following students. And our first student we're going to be honoring tonight is Adriana King. Adriana. Yeah, Sonala Coban. Next, we have Abigail Santiago Harris. Ulrich. Next up, we have Lillian Bissell. Final recipient for this month is Eric Hateman. So I would just ask for one more big round of applause for all of our winners.
Okay, we'll take a few minutes for our students and their guests. We have some refreshments in the back if you'd like to help yourselves. We'll take a recess for about 10-15 minutes and then resume the meeting. Thank you.
I just wrote that.
We'll continue on with privileges of the floor. Any residents' comments? Like to speak? No? There will be a time for public comments after the meeting if you'd like. Okay. All right, then moving on to our consensus agenda items. I'd like to call for a motion to accept the consensus agenda items. Motion seconded. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Onto personnel items. There's nothing to separate tonight, correct? So I'd like to call for a motion to accept the personnel items as presented.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Onto our standing committees. Anything from our capital projects?
Just say that, it looks as though on Monday, the middle school classrooms, that were part of this phase of the project should be done. So, there's, if you remember, there's two, STEM rooms that were being created, plus a clean room. That clean room has been completed. The other two rooms should be ready for Monday.
Very good. Anything from our policy committee?
Yes, so we met earlier today prior to this meeting. Reviewed a bunch of policies that will be on the next agenda for the first reading.
Okay. From external communications, there's some items on fundraisers. Does that have to be approved or is that just information? Just informational. Moving on to ex officio student members report. Jonah.
Grab the other one if that one didn't turn on, Jonah. There you go.
So obviously with the power outage today in high school, there were a lot of comments made, mainly just about the food and all of the offers with that regard. So not only myself, but probably a few hundred kids go to school without eating breakfast and expect, breakfast options and everything. Obviously, this is not something that was in any of our control, but that was definitely something to get used to the other day. And also I do want to say, give a big thank you to everyone working in the cafeteria and everyone working today, because that was a lot of stress to be under and to handle, I'm sure. So I do want to thank them for all the work they did today. And also with the lunch, the offers, the different sandwiches that they had were, a lot of people had a lot of different things to say about them. Some are complaining, some are loving them. So yeah, just, and all in all, just hoping, students were kind of hoping for maybe some better preparation for instances like this. I don't really know how that would be done, but maybe more things to last longer, like different maybe canned goods to be offered. I'm not really sure, but that was just a big discussion had today. And then another one was in the circus of how often detentions are being given out. There have been a lot of complaints from people who don't really get detentions, like they haven't gotten they've gone their whole high school career without getting a detention or a suspension or anything. And they've been getting dished out a little bit more aggressively this year, with different tardiness levels, leaving early and everything. So that was another area of discussion, but that is about it.
All right, thank you very much. For our president's report, not too much to report on other than this weekend and into next week. There'll be the NISMA convention in New York City that myself, Julie, and Bob will be going to with different seminars to learn more about different things about being a school board member and hopefully get some ideas to bring back. They'll be helpful. Other than that, I'll pass it over to a superintendent for his report.
Thank you. First I'll turn it over to Tom, let him talk a little about staffing.
Thank you. I'd like to thank the board for supporting the personnel report this evening. In addition, I say this every meeting, we're gonna continue looking for bus drivers, bus driver trainees. That's an area that we really do need to fill. It's a continued area that we're gonna continue to work on and focus on. We do have a couple of boost positions, such as monitor cleaners, that are currently available in the district. Those range between 4.75 hours and 5.25 hours per day. So they're not full-time. Those are areas that we're looking to fill for some support positions in our elementary schools. And right now, we are pretty well staffed, really, aside from those openings that we have. That's it.
Excuse me, Tom, are those substitute or permanent?
Yeah, those are permanent.
Permanent?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Next, you know, we have a comprehensive district educational planning team and, what over the past at least handful of years, we've really focused on our engagement at events throughout the district. This year so far, we've had our first eco campus revitalization project date. Jonah was there helping with that. I think I mentioned the last meeting. But more recently, we had our district-wide elementary movie night. And I just want to mention kind of the history of that was that we have a district in which we have 4 elementary schools, and really not until middle school do they come together. And we wanted to do something about that. And so for a number of years now, we've been holding a district-wide elementary movie night. This year, we had the most people ever show up for that event. There were about 220 people who signed up, and looked, it was supposed to be outside. We have a big screen that was supposed to be outside. It all week looked like there was 0 chance of rain. The morning of 8 AM, 0 chance of rain. A few hours later, I think I maybe put out a text, oh, it looks like there's gonna be no rain. Turned out it was, you know, a few hours later, it was 18%, it was 40% chance of rain. It rained before the event, so we actually had to move the event inside. When we moved the event inside, what we thought was we'd get a number of people who would say, I'm not coming. And they didn't. We had a full house. Everyone showed. It was great. It was in the cafeteria. Really nice night for the kids. They saw Monsters Inc. Next year again, we'll hope for great weather and have this as an outside event. Families, kids did bring their like blankets and that sort of thing, but they were on the floor in the cafeteria as opposed to being outside in the courtyard, which is where he planned it. But again, I think it's been a really successful event. Next, I want to thank the board. This week is actually Board of Education Recognition Week. And each year at this meeting, I thank you. But I also set a date with you for a dinner. So I will, chili, does that work?
Whatever you like.
Good for chili, homemade chili? Does that work? Yeah,
Sounds good.
okay. I'm looking at either November 6th or November 20th. Now, don't pick because you're not gonna be here, okay, that'll be really hurtful if I find out that that's why you said, cause I'll make a note. Do either of those, no, are either one of those dates better?
Maybe the 6th.
The 6th?
Yeah, that's,
The 6th, great.
Okay. I mean, I probably won't be able to come. Maybe not Craig, it's the first Wednesday of the month.
Mm.
It might be our workshop,
Yeah, it works.
Okay,
but that's
Huh?
okay.
what about the 20th?
If you're making chili, I'm okay.
20th?
But yeah, the 20th shouldn't be a problem, but
Does that
Okay,
work?
that's fine.
November 20th it is. Okay, we were also asked to weigh in, the board was, on the Noseball Legislative Breakfast. The Noseball Legislative Breakfast, for those that don't know, our local legislators come to that breakfast. We present on some of the legislative priorities that we have as a BOCES, as a region, but also some of the priorities that we have at the state level. that morning to our legislative representatives. They have two dates that are being thrown out right now, January 25th and February 1st.
I don't have a conflict otherwise. Is anyone that,
I don't know that.
Yeah.
January 25th or February 1st. They're Saturday mornings, the legislators come, we present, they make some comments. Either date works, so I should just tell them. Next, I just want to take a minute to talk about something that is happening at the state level. It's being referred to as regionalization, okay? What the New York State Education Department has asked BOCES to do is take a look at the programs that are happening within all of the districts within the BOCES. And there's a fairly lengthy survey that we've been asked to fill out each district, and then it's going to be up to the BOCES, district superintendents, to kind of coordinate that information. There's a lot of reasons behind it. One of them is to look at, what's maybe happening with one of our neighbors that's not happening in our district that we could benefit from, and vice versa, right? Do we have a class set up with one of our local colleges where there's both high school credit and college credit that maybe a student from another district could take advantage of? Those sort of things, kind of the idea of shared services. So we're working through that. We'll get that information in, and then we'll work to see how we can make it better. Not lost on anybody, okay? And this is not being cynical at all, is the fact that last year and this upcoming year are expected to be tough budget years for districts. So I think there's certainly an interest in knowing what other places are doing that places that other districts could piggyback off of to maybe not have to spend those same dollars themselves or less themselves. So that'll be some work that we'll be doing with our Orleans Niagara BOCES. At the second meeting in November, we will be honoring two graduates at that time. So that'll be pretty exciting. We'll also be honoring more Falcons of the Month at that meeting. And the last item is the power outage. I just wanted to touch base, with the board, but also public on this a little bit. The worst time of the morning for a power outage to happen, right? We find out when students, high school, middle school students, are already on their buses and on their way in. So at that point, we didn't know, is it a flick of a switch? Is it is it a fuse? Is it a quick fix, or is it a longer fix? So what we knew was this: we knew that our kids at the high school, middle school arrive at 7:30, that those buses then leave, they go pick up our elementary kids and they drop those kids off. We looked at that as like a 2-hour window. We knew that within that time frame, we would have to make a decision as to whether or not we were gonna be able to stay open or not. And if we weren't able to restore power, didn't think we'd be able to restore power, we would have been then moving to send all of our kids home. So we put an initial message out just saying that we were in a position where the power had gone out. By the way, just really quick on the power itself, our system worked the way that it should. It turns out that another power line crossed over one of our main lines. When that happens, I'm way out of my league here, so bear with me. And if there's some electrician out there who's listening to this and says you're wrong, they're probably right. But that current finds the weakest point in your system, and when it does, when that current's shot through your system, it's trying to find the weakest point. When it does, we want it to, it then blows all of those fuses and knocks out the thing on the top of those fuses. I don't know the name. See, so, but it knocks that out and it stops right there without traveling through the rest of the system, knocking out the rest of our system, and also knocking out equipment. So if you don't have those fail safes in place, equipment that's attached, those things, it'll all blow, it'll ruin them, it'll burn them out. So it worked just exactly the way that it was supposed to. The good news is when you're living in a world where you have capital project work going on, You have electricians that are always here and or accessible. Our electricians who, we have our own electrician, but this was a scope beyond what, you know, he would do. But he knew that we needed to get this group in here to take a look. They were able to get here pretty quick, assess the problem, tell us what we need to do, and kind of give us a timeline for fixing it. So really early on, we were able to get really all of the building up except for the high school cafeteria, and then everything in from the high school cafeteria back to like the southeast part of our building. So those are like some of our art rooms. As I said, the cafeteria, athletics, the gymnasium, so that area back there, and then H wing, okay? Those are all on the same main line. So we were able to get everything else up and running, so we felt pretty confident and comfortable that we could run the building. Jonah, to your point, I'm actually happy to hear that there were some positive comments about the food. That's really good. But we knew that it was going to be a day for like cold breakfasts, right? Because when that got knocked out, one of the places that didn't restore was the cafeteria. We had some lighting in there, but in the actual back cafeteria, none of that stuff could run. So, you know, that's why both the breakfast and lunches were kind of the same. I think you made some comment about, hoping that, you know, that wasn't, you know, normal. We hope that our power doesn't go out again. But I was really happy that you mentioned our staff, right? When the power goes out, it affects everybody, right? Affects instruction, affects everything. But our goal is this: if we can keep kids in school, we're keeping them here. And if we know that we can continue to educate kids, we're gonna do it. And if we thought that this was gonna be a long-term problem throughout the day, that, you know, bathrooms weren't gonna be able to be up and running, and we didn't have the cold foods to feed people, we wouldn't have ran it, but we knew that we could. And we knew that the entire middle school was gonna be up and running as well. So we felt like we were in a pretty good spot with all of that. But our staff, no surprise, responded incredibly. Our facilities department, outstanding. So we were in a pretty good place, and you know, we work hard together to be ready for stuff like that. It's not the first power outage that we've had. The timing's never when you want it. I don't know when you want your power to go out, but you know, if it would have happened at 5 AM before buses were picking kids up, I don't know, maybe we make a different decision. But you know, we got kids on the buses, and what we weren't gonna do, and I hope everybody appreciates this, we weren't gonna turn those buses around half full, start dropping them off at homes without parents knowing. We've got them into the school, they were in a safe place, we knew that. We knew we could take them home at 9:30, but if we had done it and we started dropping kids off, now all the elementary runs would have been backed up. The elementary schools were up and running and fine. Why would we inconvenience those kids and the families, those elementary kids, those parents are waiting to go to work, right? And so if we knew we could do it, it seemed to make really good sense, and it worked. One last thing, I just have to share this. I wish I had the recording. I shared this with the board. I really wish I had the recording. Some student called my office this morning. I wish I had been there to take the call. But left a message on Jan Ball's phone, and all it said was, please, please, please send us home. And there were kids laughing in the background. So some high school kid thought it was pretty good, and that was pretty funny stuff. That's all I do.
Okay, thanks, Dan. Let's see here. Moving on to any items for board discussion. Do we have anything? Old business, new business? Okay, public comments. Anyone would like to speak?
Hi, my name is Liz Copeland. I'm here to represent the High School Music Parents Club tonight. I don't know if when you announced the personnel action, if that was hiring a new music teacher. But as parents of music kids, we're concerned of the lack of education they're getting right now. Right now it's pretty much a study hall. All county auditions are coming up. They're missing out on a fall concert. So I just want to know what the status is on that situation.
we normally don't respond to public comment.
Oh.
But because a letter's going out tomorrow to music parents, I'll just say that you are getting a communication tomorrow morning that'll give you some information. But I will absolutely share with you that one of the action items tonight was a music teacher. Okay, so everything else you'll get tomorrow, that'll only go to music families. Okay? It'll go out through the Blackboard Connect system where each parent who has kids in the music program will get this communication. Okay? No, it's okay. You sound like me, so I hope yours goes away. Mine doesn't. So we do have plan for that, the best that we can. That'll hopefully start early next week. They're very valid questions though. Musicals already been selected. We haven't, I'll tell you this, we haven't had any trouble at all getting interested parties for running the musical. We have multiple people who are interested in those positions. Did the posting come down yet?
Yes.
Posting did come down, so we have individuals who'll be running all of that. They're great questions, but because of the nature of it, you'll see when you get it, I'm not gonna share anything with anybody beyond the people who are impacted by the classes, and then you'll get that tomorrow. Okay?
Yeah, thank you. Any board member comments tonight? Just like to reiterate again, congratulations to our Falcons of the Month who came out tonight. It's always great to see the kids come out and get recognized for doing good, doing well in school. All right, with that, I'll call for a motion to adjourn.
I'll make-
Motion seconded, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, motion carries for adjourn. Thank you.